Today we're really going to focus on setting up Command for success. There's just a few things that if you set them up properly, and it doesn't take a lot, but if you set them up properly, it makes everything else a whole lot easier. So I'm going to kind of do a brief little tour of Command in case you're not super familiar with it, but I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that. And then I'm going to show you a little bit into the settings and getting some of that set up. The reason that we really want to emphasize this is because this will make things easier when we get into some of the cool stuff. So one of the things that we're going to look at in the next one, which will be Wednesday, is mastering your database. I'm going to go over something like this. This looks like a lot of colors and everything to begin with, but this is an awesome way to color code your database. If you want to use colors, you don't have to, but you can color code and create custom tags to organize your database to make it super purposeful, but also so that you can look at a contact in a glance and know, oh, they're an active client who lives, who's in the Brooklyn Park area or the Maple Grove area, but they came from an internet lead and I have them on this particular follow-up plan, like super easy. So that's just a teaser. We're going to get into that in the next one. But that's why this kind of stuff is important, so we can get set up to do some of that stuff, which will really allow you to take control of your database and be able to get the most out of it. So I'm going to switch back over to my command window. There's a few things that are kind of, I like to call them just little tricks to make things a little easier. If you don't know yet, you can always click on this red square in the top left corner, and the words will pop out to tell you what all these different tools or pieces of command are. We call these the applets. You could think of each of these like a separate app on your smartphone. They all do something a little bit different, but they all talk to each other, right? So like on your phone, your dial pad, the number pad, talks to the contacts app, right? So that it can reference the contacts, and same with the email. And so that's how these apps or applets kind of tie together. They leverage each other and use each other to make things happen, but they all serve a little bit of a different purpose. So you can click on that red KW to see what those things are. Then we've got Command, and we do have a Connect tab here as well. Now the Connect tab is not fully functioning yet. Eventually we're going to move the entire kwconnect.com website over into this Connect tab. You can click on it, you can see the Connect groups and some stuff like that, but it's not as feature rich as the full kwconnect.com. Then as we go over to the right, we do have a marketplace. I'm not going to spend much time on the marketplace today, but basically KW has built Command in a way that other vendors, technologies, and companies will have the ability to plug in. So there's different vendors that you can go and subscribe to through there, and it will plug in and you'll be able to utilize those in Command. Then you've got your notification bell. Anytime you get a Kelly notification, like a new lead, a compliance update, anything like that, those come through there. Then you've got your name and you've got the question mark. So I'm gonna jump over your name. We'll go to the question mark first. In there you can find Keller Williams University, which is the support articles. Find help, find a how-to on pretty much anything. I could search for, there we go. Like here's all the different articles they have about adding context to different plans and things. So if I click on my name now, I've got profile, settings, command training, and then I can log out. So the profile, when I click on profile, that actually takes me into Connect, and it takes me to my KW Connect profile. Now, as of right now, you have two profiles. You have a Connect profile and a Command profile. It's a little confusing, I know, but the Connect profile is your agent-to-agent profile. So that's what another KW agent would see when they look you up in referrals or they look you up in Connect. So if I went and I searched for an agent in Atlanta and I'd see all these agents in Atlanta who have done business there, and I start looking at their profiles, I'm going to see their Connect profiles. So definitely worth spending a few minutes to go in there and click Edit Profile, fill that info out. Name, contact info, a quick little couple lines about you. If you want to add your social media links, you can opt in or out of the referral network here. Honestly, I'm not quite sure why somebody would want to opt out because you just never know where a referral might come from. And then you can choose if you would like closed units, listing sold units, buy sales, closed units, lease closed units, and time with KW. If you want those displayed on the page or not, you can toggle those switches on or off. So if you're a newer agent, maybe you don't want the listing sold units and closed units and that stuff to show up yet, totally fine. Just turn it off for now. So shouldn't take you too long. You also can upload a photo. If you really want to get creative, you can make a header, but I would at least get the photo and the bio and some of that stuff in there. That's very important, because if I came across another agent in another part of the country who has not even taken the time to set up their profile, there's a good chance that the referral may not go to them. So that is the Connect profile. When you click on your name, the other one I wanted to show you is under settings. Now under settings, we've got a bunch of options over on the left, and it looks like a ton of stuff in here, but there's really only a few important things. So the first screen that opens up is the application screen. Again, I referenced earlier how Command was built in such a way that we can connect or plug in other tools and programs and technologies. These are the ones that KW has established partnerships already for all the agents. You can set up a DocuSign account for free, so you'll actually be able to do document preparation in there. For now, you can use it for splitting documents and things like that. We just don't have our forms from our association in there yet. Then there's a couple of Facebook integrations. There's a Facebook post scheduler, and way down at the bottom, there is a Facebook ad manager. Now the ad manager does exactly what it says. It's for managing your ads or creating ads. Post scheduler is when you want to create a Facebook post, but you want to schedule it to go out next week. Maybe you wanted to create one now that says Happy Memorial Day and post it on Memorial Day. Well, you could create it and schedule it today to automatically happen when you want to. So both of those will have a connect account button over on the right, and you can go through and you can connect both of them. And when you do, it'll prompt you to log in with your personal Facebook, and that's exactly what it's supposed to do. Don't worry, because once you do that, then you'll be able to select your business page at the time of scheduling the ad or when you schedule the post. Google Calendar, feel free to connect that if you're using Google Calendar. And then Gmail. I would definitely recommend connecting your KW email, Gmail, or Google powered email if you're using one of those, because that will add some pretty cool functionality in your contact database, so that in my KW email, because that's what I chose to connect, and I did that just by clicking connect account on the right, in my KW email, when I send an email to somebody who's in my database, it shows up in their contact card, even if I'm sending it from my KW email and not actually sending it from Command. We also have something called Twilio. Twilio is a mass texting and automated texting service that is an additional charge, but it's super duper cheap. It's less than a penny a text. So it's significantly less than a penny a text. I feel like it's like a tenth of a cent or something. So you can do Twilio if you'd like to. Just know that it doesn't come from your cell phone number. It does come from another number that you get through Twilio. By default, it's like a 512 number or a Texas number or something like that. You can have that changed. I believe it's about $1 a month to have a custom phone number through there. And then you just pay per text. And the way that works is they don't charge you a tenth of a cent here and there. You load like $20 into your account. And when the balance goes below 20, they'll reload it back up to that $20 mark. We also have the ability to do PieSync, which will allow us to sync contacts. That's a conversation for another day, so we're going to skip that one. Google AdWords, that allows you to do paid advertising on Google. You can connect that if you wish. Twitter has a post scheduling feature. Most people probably aren't going to leverage that. However, if you're super active on Twitter, maybe you want to do that. And as I scroll down, the last two on the list, MailChimp is there. If you're not using MailChimp yet, I probably wouldn't really worry about it. If you're already using MailChimp in your business and you have a subscription to MailChimp, you certainly can connect it here. MailChimp was going to be our email provider. Basically, the monkey just didn't really want to play nice with KW. They changed their billing. And so KW just said, okay, we'll make our own. And that's where we got Command Mail. Now, Command Mail has recently launched, but basically KW built their own email platform. We're going to get 5,000 free emails per month. And if we want to subscribe to more, we can. Super affordable. If I click on Manage here, I can set my sender name and my reply to email address. And you can see I've got 5,000. I believe it's like $10 a month to do 10,000 emails. We're going to see increased functionality on that. Right now, that powers the Smart Plan emails, and that's really about it. But soon we'll have full email capability in there. So that's the applications. It felt like a lot, but really there was the Facebook things, Gmail, and then just put the command mail email address in there, the reply to address. Then over on the left, we've got 5 sections, and there's really only settings here in 2 of them. Under command settings, you can see a number of things here. Applications, that's the screen we were already on. We've got contacts. So when I click on contacts, there's nothing to really set up here, but I want to show you where you can find a couple of things. Archive. So anytime that you archive a contact, this is where you can find it in your settings, command settings, and contact archive. And that can be very handy because if you're ever trying to put in a contact and it says, hey, this person already exists, or this email or phone number already exists, and when you search them out, you can't find them, they're probably in your archive. So what you would need to do is go into your archive and delete that person completely. That would allow you to get in there and put them back in, or you can restore them if you need to restore them. Then there is a full database wipe if you need to start all over. If you want to start from scratch and put your contacts back in, this is where you can find that. But you can actually archive all contacts, and then you can delete your entire archive from here. You can also access custom tags. And we'll talk more about that next week, but that's where I was showing you the color coding, the organizing, all of that kind of stuff. So you can get in here to rename, manage, create new tags, change the colors, different things like that. You have the opportunity archive. Same thing with the contact archive. So anytime you archive an opportunity, you can find it in here. So go ahead and restore it if you did that by accident or you need it back. Then there are 2 things which I don't have in my command, so I'm going to jump over to slides to show you. Here we go. For Rainmakers of Teams, there are 2 things in the settings. When you go into the settings, you go into command settings and sales pipeline, there's a team permissions piece. In the team permissions piece, the Rainmaker of a team can choose to allow private agent pipelines or not. Now, a private agent pipeline, basically that means if I'm on a team and I go to create an opportunity or a potential transaction, I have the option, if it's turned on, which it is by default, I would have the option to create that on the team pipeline or on my private pipeline. Now that creates a huge issue on a team if all of a sudden people start putting things on their private one and then some things on the team one, because it gets everything all mixed up and then you can't see your opportunities properly. So I recommend that teams turn that off and set that allow a private agent pipeline to no. That way all opportunities created by everyone on the team reside within that team pipeline. You do have the option to turn that on or off for specific agents as well, but typically we just set that to no. The other thing for teams is under the command settings, there's an agent site section and a team data where they can put in the name of the team, a couple lines about them, and then you can toggle people on and off to show up on your site. Now, the reason that's handy is because some teams will have somebody in an admin position or an executive admin position on their team. They may be licensed, but maybe they don't want them to show up as an agent. Or maybe they're not licensed, but they do show up in the KW system because we got them set up with a KW login. If they do that, they may show up as an agent on the page. So we have the ability to turn those on and off. The other piece that's in there for teams is they do have the ability to add up to 2 admins through their settings in the Rainmakers command. And when you add an admin that way, they have mirrored abilities in 4 of the aspects of command or 4 of the applets, so they can go through and act as the Rainmaker. So that's the preferred way to add an admin right now. And then the last thing I'm going to show you is under Connect settings here in the settings, where we can get into the marketing profile. So if we click on marketing profile, this one's really important because when you set up your marketing profile, this information populates through to a lot of other places in command, into designs, website, app, all kinds of different things. So it makes it a lot easier to fill it out here, and then it'll pre-populate when you get to some of those other pieces. You have 2 options. You can just go through and fill the stuff out as you go, or you can do the marketing profile Kelly guide. So if we go through the Kelly guide, when we click on this Kelly guide button, get started, it's going to walk us through these different pieces. So it says branded header. I'm going to click on it. I can upload a photo or a logo there if I have one, put in my name, and I'm just going to keep nexting through this wizard. Agent license number, brokerage license number, and again, all that extra info that you need for the office is on that page on Market Center Tech. Go through, fill out all the info there, my social media links. There's my legal footer. And I've already got mine filled out, so it's a little quicker, right? But as I go through and I just next through this, it then will take me through to the next piece where it'll have me configure my name and reply email. That's for that command mail, Twilio if I want to. And then it actually has me turn on a couple of smart plans. So I can pick the smart plans I want. I would probably recommend turning on the monthly neighborhood nurture by clicking add smart plan, maybe the bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, and the quarterly call plan. Those would be 3 really, really good smart plans to get started with. But you can get those started, get those created. I'm going to scroll down. I've got a lot of smart plans. And I click next. There's my list of all the smart plans I've got turned on because I play around with a lot of settings in my command. And as I hit continue, there we go. It's done. So pretty easy. The biggest thing is getting your photo cropped to a square because they're all meant to work in circles. And so if you have a rectangular photo, it's going to cut off the top of your head. And then on the marketing profile, the only thing I wanted to show you, make sure that this little green toggle switch is flicked to green. When that is, then that's the information that'll push through to your mobile app and your site. Getting those settings configured just makes things a lot easier. It helps to get things set up to make things smoother in the future.